We will start this morning's session with FRS President Tom Conray, General Manager of Farmers Mutual Cooperative in Iowa, who will give us an update on the Foundation for Rural Services activities. Let's welcome Tom Conray.
Thank you, Don. Don forgot to tell you he also is a fellow ragbri rider, a bike ride across Iowa, and get to follow Don down the road once in a while. So thank you very much. Glad to stand before you and report on FRS. We want to first thank everyone who supported us at the Gillies event on Monday evening. A great event. We had good time. People hung around and lots of things to do. We sure appreciate those who are there with us. The foundation is very strong, but we always need member support. About a third of NTCA member companies now currently support Foundation for Rural Service, and we would like to grow that to a half. We also have opportunities for personal donations, so if you would like to help us with our operations, you can give to us personally as well as through the company. 2010 highlights, we had our most popular and well-distributed white paper on broadband, and we also had our overwhelming response that we did the distracted driving DVD. Each member company of NTCA was sent a free DVD, and we hope you use those in your schools and in front of your youth to keep them safe. You also, for 2011, we are going to have, again, our Rural Youth Survey, our College Scholarship Program, the Summer Internship Program, Community Development Award, our youth tour, which is coming up here in the spring, as well as new white papers and bill stuffers. And we have a special guest, and if I could, I'd like to ask Sandy to come up and introduce her.
Thank you, Tom. As we've told you before, the FRS Youth Tour is a very important part of FRS, and we think at 5 Area Telephone in Muleshoe, we think it's a very important thing to send young people to Washington, D.C., and put them under the fine care of the ladies from FRS. They get to tour D.C., they see all the things that are happening, they go to the FCC, and they actually understand a little bit more about our telephone operations. 5 Area Telephone has sent a student for the past, 7, 8, 10 years, a long time. We go through our schools. We rotate through our schools, and the way that we do it is we have the principal or the counselor get together and decide a sophomore, someone under 18, that would represent the schools as well as 5 Area Telephone by going to one of these FRS youth tours. We have a little town, one of our exchanges, called Sudan, Texas. If you happen to drive from Dallas to Muleshoe, you'll go through Sudan. It's a pretty small town. It's got "You are entering and please come back" on the same sign. It's not that big. But in 2005, this young lady was a tour participant. She is from Sudan and is attending graduate school at Texas Tech University. Guns up. Laci will graduate in August of 2011 with a master's in heritage management. She is currently interning in the Chicago area at Napier Settlement. Laci would like to share with us how the youth tour impacted her then and now. Please help me in welcoming Laci Hill.
Good morning. I would like to start off by thanking everyone involved in getting me here and out of the Chicago area for a couple of days. For those of you who don't know, it's really cold up there. And to Mr. Sandy Van Devender, thank you for not only arranging this, but for thinking of me to begin with. That's an honor, and I'm glad to be here and share my story with all of you. As Sandy said, I grew up in Sudan, Texas. And I graduated from the same high school as did 3 generations of my family before me. I can reach the majority of my family within a 75-mile radius of my house. And I had that typical small-town upbringing that I'm sure you're all familiar with. I was expected to follow in the footsteps of the generations before me, and that was to, attend a local school, settle down, and not move very far. And, that was the plan for myself. However, that's not really how it turned out. My junior year of high school, I was selected to go on the FRS Youth Tour of Washington, D.C., and like others of my age at that time, I was starting to make critical decisions about college and future career and that kind of thing. And my youth tour experience helped out tremendously with these decisions. Because after touring the wonderful Smithsonian's and Mount Vernon, which is my favorite, and just being in the presence of the wonderful men and women who have gone on before us and helped build this nation, as well as the built heritage in Washington, D.C., which is beautiful. The buildings are my favorite part. I decided that I could take my love of history and do something besides teach, which I wasn't a fan of, and that I could work with museums and historic properties. But that wasn't the only decision that the tour influenced upon me, however. When it came time to apply to colleges, I only really had 2 schools in mind, and both were in Lubbock, which was 60 miles from my hometown. But however, the experience of Washington was still fresh in my mind, and I was very excited about it. So I decided to apply to Marymount University, which is in Arlington, Virginia. It was an opportunity and experience that I just couldn't turn down. And so when I got accepted, I packed up all my things and moved 1,800 miles away from home to something that none of my family members have ever done. 3 years later, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in history from Marymount University, and I had a one-of-a-kind college experience, one that I cannot take all the credit for, because had it not been for the FRS tour, I would have never had the courage or the idea to even attend a school in the area. There are numerous experiences that I gained through my undergraduate career. I learned all I could about our nation's capital and its surrounding areas, and I traveled all along the eastern shoreline. I interned at the National Museum of American History and learned about the many different ways of life from many different cultures and that are presented not only in this country, but in others as well. It was a one-of-a-kind experience that I would have never received had it not been for the tour. And as Sandy mentioned, I'm now enrolled at Texas Tech University, and I will graduate this August with a master's in heritage management and a minor in museum science. And I am interning in Chicago. I'm aspiring to work with historic and cultural preservation through objects, buildings, and intangible aspects. And this is something that I feel very passionate about, and I've enjoyed being involved in this area of study. And had I not had the opportunity to visit Washington when I was just a junior in high school, I would have never attended Marymount University. And though I might have ended up in the same career path, the experience I had amongst the museums and historic sites of Washington has been a major advantage in my master's career. And obviously, as I said, the youth tour made an extremely significant impact on my life. It showed me a world outside of my own. It opened me up to the countless opportunities available to our youth today. It instilled in me an adventurous spirit and the courage to go beyond my comfort zone. And there's really no other way to say it. The tour changed my life. And I know it was made possible through the tour. And the tour cannot go on without support from the foundation and all of you wonderful people who make donations. So that's why I thank all of you who generate this support, because honestly, if it changed my life, it can change someone else's. And if it even just changed one person, that one person is very thankful, just as I am. It's been a pleasure getting to come back to Texas and speak to all of you, and I appreciate this opportunity so much. And I thank you for thinking of me. And once again, I encourage all of you to promote the youth tour and to support it. It's a wonderful experience. It gives our youth the opportunity to explore a world different from their own and interact with people from across the nation. Thank you.
That's why we do it, folks, right there. Just a personal note, Sandy mentioned that they've sent kids for a number of years. They also send Ann Souter, who is no longer on the board and not coming as a youth tour chaperone, but Sandy's company has sent many chaperones, many kids, and we appreciate all their support ongoing and in the past, so thank you very much. Impacting lives of rural youth is what we're all about. And to finish up, I have the passport winners from our passport program down at the expo. If you're in the audience, the FRS staff will contact you. First winner is Jason Pettit from Toluso Basin. Second winner is Richard Rule from Pioneer. And the third is Greg Coltrane from Tri-County Telecom. Thank you very much. Have a safe trip home.